Hello people from the internet. Today is day 4 of my Learn 3D in 30 Days challenge. My name is Tracy and I'm your 3D guide for these 30 days. On day 3 I made a doghouse from scratch in SketchUp. Today I'm going to create textures for it and export it to the Unity game engine and also to Second Life. On day 5 we're going to look at preparing the model for 3D printing using the specifications of a 3D printer I have access to. It actually gets a bit more complicated, and so I'll be checking out that printer tomorrow. The first thing I want to do is create a unique texture for the doghouse, because I really don't like the materials from SketchUp. I don't want it to look more like the original doghouse photo that I picked out. To do this, I'm going to open up Google Images again and search for Maplewood. I want both small boards and one big solid board. So here I have my Google search. I'm going to search Maplewood and click Images. I like this board here. Wait for it to load. Save image as. Day 4. I'm going to save it as texture underscore maple boards. And then I want a board that's similar in color. No. Here, this one works. I can work with this. Save image as texture maple. Next, I'm going to open them up in Photoshop. Okay, so I just opened them up in Photoshop and I'm going to rearrange the windows so that I can see them both at the same time. The first thing about textures is that we want them to be squares. So I'm going to go here next to the tool, click on square. See, this one's already done, so we want it placed where it's not going to cut off one of the wood knots. There, that looks good. And then again for this one, we want to make sure that it's a perfect square. And it appears to already be a perfect square. Now I like the color of the wood here on this side more than that one, so I'm going to modify the colors on this side by going to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation. I'm going to desaturate it a little bit and make it a little lighter. That looks good. The true test is to carry it over. It's still too dark. I'm going to do a brightness contrast this time. So I'm going to make it brighter. Let's see how that looks. A little more. There we go. That looks perfect. Now we're going to save them. Now to save textures, they need to be on a scale they need to be saved as specific dimensions. So 2 by 2, 4 by 4, 8 by 8, 16 by 16, 32 by 32, 64 by 64, up to 128 by 128, 256 by 256, and 512 by 512. I'm going to save these in 256 if possible. Actually, this one looks a little smaller. 183. So we can make it 128. And this one too. image, image size, 128. Next, we want to make them seamless. So here I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to double click on the background here, say OK. Now I can make a copy, right click, duplicate layer, OK. And with the first layer selected, I'm going to go to Filter, Other, Offset. So it's 128 by 128, so we want to offset it by half of that. So 64 by 64, enter. Now if this were tiled, it wouldn't come up as you'd be able to see all these marks right here. So we're going to erase part of the top layer. By right-clicking on the eraser, we want the hardness to be 0, and we want the brush to be a little bigger. So like this. Oh, maybe a little softer, a little harder. Okay, like this. We're going to go right up to the edge like that, and right up to the edge here, and again here. And then one more time over here. Click on these two, right click, we're going to merge the layers, and now the test, filter, offset again, and it doesn't look too bad. Okay, now for this one it's going to be a little trickier. And that's because the boards are not all of equal size. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cancel the resize on that. There we go. That was Control. I went to, with this selected, I went to Edit, step backwards, so it's 138 by 138. And I am going to use the crop tool again. Right here, it's still selected on square, and I'm going to click where one board ends like so. And I want it to be so that the boards are, we want the lines to be there still, but not too much. And then we decide which part of this board we want. Okay, this looks good to me. Maybe down one. There we go. I also don't want all these knots here. So I'm going to use this tool right here, the clone. Ooh, it's way too big. So I'm going to go bring it down. Okay, this is good. And I'm going to click Alt to copy the area I want to clone. So this here. And then I'm just going to smudge that mark out right there. And I'm going to do this for every mark. There. Image size, we're going to make it 128. Enter. And so we want to make another layer for that. Duplicate layer. Offset the top layer. Other, offset. And we don't want to have it offset vertically. So we're going to put this down to 0. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing here with the eraser tool. We're going to erase at the top here like this. And erase at the bottom here. And then we're going to merge the layers and save. It's a JPG. Okay. We want to save this one too. It's a JPG. Okay. So now let's go to SketchUp and change the texture of the doghouse. So we'll open up our file and change the style back to simple style. I'm going to close this window now. Now we're going to open up the materials window from Window, Materials. We're going to click this button right here called Create Material, then the folder here, and our new textures that we just made. Okay, and one more, the boards. Okay, and now for texturing. So now that we have it textured, I actually want to remove this spot here because if I'm going to upload it to Second Life, there's a possibility that I'll put it up for sale. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Okay, so I'm happy with the way this log house is looking now. It is time to export it. First, let's save it. And for Second Life, we're going to have to export it as a 3D model in the DAE format. Let's see, options, export two-sided, export triangulate. You'll make sure triangulate all faces is selected here. Export texture maps also. Okay. Export. There we go. Now we're done with SketchUp for now. So on my desktop, I've already installed Unity and I have Second Life installed also. You're going to have to create accounts with both of them. So I'm going to launch Unity now. And I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to call it Doghouse. That looks good. Create project. And here we have a empty scene. On the bottom here you see assets. Right click on the here. Import new asset. Go to the folder where you've saved your doghouse, and which is actually day 3. I just resaved this one. And then you drag and drop it into your game. Now turn it around on the axis here so that we can see it. I've already have a lighting piece right here. There we go. Now we have our doghouse in Unity. Here I am in Second Life. To be able to upload in Second Life, you have to answer a 10-question quiz that asks you about intellectual property. They'll actually teach you about it and then ask questions that are directly related, so it's super easy. Basically, you can't upload brands, you can't upload things that are famous and use those names, like let's say you work on a shape for a person, you can't say, oh, and this person is made to look like Hellberry. So here we're going to go to Avatar, Upload, Mesh Model. We're going to select the doghouse that we exported earlier. We can zoom in here and see it. Turn on textures. Now let's name it Doghouse. This model represents a smaller non-moving object. And the other thing we want to do is go to Upload Options, Include Textures. And I think that's it. So then we calculate weights and fees. This cost is going to cost 51 Linden dollars to upload, and so we're going to click Upload. It then appears here inside your inventory, where we just drag and drop it out, and then you have your doghouse. There we have it, our first upload for Second Life. And that's all for today. On day 5, we're going to look at what we need to know in order to prepare and print the doghouse with a 3D printer, materials we can print with, and the different 3D printers that are available. Please like this video by clicking on the thumbs up if you found it helpful. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up with my 3D modeling adventures. See you later!